All right, it's recording. So, welcome, friends. And just to get started, I'm going to walk through kind of where we're at with the district advisory board and the leadership on our district as far as it pertains to explosion. And then our friend Jake Beard is going to talk to us about all of the explosion things and all the unique things that are going to happen this year. And then I will follow up with the registration forms when he is finished. So just to begin here, I've been talking with Brother Ron and the District Advisory Board, and they have given us permission to continue planning and moving forward right now with our event as we have it planned. And so mostly doing the sports events and the talent side of those things being submitted. In addition to that, the hand sanitizer, the cleaning, the wearing masks when you're not participating in the sport, that kind of thing. In that long email that I did send out, I also attached the stipulations or regulations or whatever you want to call them that we sent to the advisory board to get us to this point. So with that, like all of those things are going to still be there. I think the most important one is we're going to check temperatures before students leave to attend the event. And the pastor, youth worker, as well as the parent will have to sign off on it. So just be prepared to do that before you come. That's the big one, I think. The rest of them you're pretty much doing at work and school in your everyday life. With that said, there are always possibilities for us to, for the district advisory board to cancel or have us postpone our event. Okay, so that is not out of that still is a possibility. We're praying for us to be able to have a safe event. They are meeting at the beginning of December, so we will know then. Either way, it's my goal for us to be able to have this event, even if TNT doesn't happen, for us, even if we have to do it in March or April, for us to have an event like this. It's super important, I think, to the development of our district students. So that's kind of where we're at. We are moving forward, but there's always a chance that our leadership thinks it's best and safest to hold off. So with that said, Jake, my man, take it away.
All righty. Everybody can hear me okay? Yes? All righty. So like I said in the video yesterday, this event will be as unique as it's ever been. It's going to cause us to use some different muscles, different parts of our brain, or different aspects of our youth group and leadership that we've never really done before. And so with that, this year for Explosion, we're going to do all online registration. That's one of the big changes. Every registration form, every team sheet, everything that used to be on paper, besides the math tests and stuff, will be online. And so those links we'll walk through later. And we're doing that for a number of reasons. One is to just limit people touching so many papers and then sending it, and then us getting it and receiving it. It also puts less tracking and filing work on you for your local context to gather them up all together, make sure they're mailed and sent out, and stuff of that matter. The check will still be mailed, and that address was in Ryan's email. But all registration, all team sheets, and even judging scoring sheets will be online this year. And so we're looking forward to that. And then, like I said, this event, it's just going to be, instead of an overnight kind of ordeal, It's going to be a one-day thing. And that's going to be Saturday, January 30th at Cookeville. And we're going to start at 8:15. That'll be when registration opens up. And we'll go through dinner time. And this is going to be pretty fast-paced. There will be different breaks in the middle of it in certain parts of the day. But it's going to be a pretty fast-paced event. And we're trying to schedule things and space things out to where your students can do as many things as they can. So we're looking forward to that. Any quick questions before we move forward? All righty, I'm moving on. Okay, and then the award ceremony, instead of doing it at the event, which is it's an enjoyable time where our students get to be recognized in front of one another, and we get to place medals on them, and we get to show how our students did. We're going to do that virtually this year. And we're doing that for a number of reasons. One is to limit the amount of people in an enclosed space, especially people from all over our district. So we're going to do that virtually. And the hope there is that you can gather with your youth groups and your teens and watch it together as a youth group. And so you can celebrate as a youth group. And we're trying to do everything we can, everything that we can think of for this to be a safe event, and trying to put every practice in place that we can to make this event a good one, that it can thrive, and that we can all stay healthy. And then the last big change this year, or one of the big changes this year, is digital submissions. And this is different from the online registration. Digital submissions will be for certain aspects of creative ministries, for music, and all of that was laid out in Ryan's email. And so that will be, like I said, a number of singing and stuff like that. And again, just trying to limit people using the same microphones, singing, and putting droplets out in the air. Just trying to do everything we can to make this a successful, beneficial event for our students to share their talents. There are some stipulations with that. And if you didn't read the email, I encourage you to do that, because the stipulations were in there regarding the videos and the submissions. But also the thought with this is, through digital submissions, you have to do it in front of like your youth group, your church on a Sunday morning or a Sunday night. And the hope here is that maybe there's some of your students who are kind of hesitant about singing in front of people they don't know. Maybe they're hesitant to sing in front of, people who aren't their friends. And so we really think that this digital submission style this year for particular events can actually draw up more interest and more participation in these certain categories. Any questions regarding that? And we'll get into more of that later, but right now, any questions for that? All righty.
Hey, I have one.
Yes.
So, like, if they do the poetry, do you want that read in front of the church too? I'm good with that. Or yes, no, maybe. Like the poetry, the stuff like that, or is it just the singing and the...
Only the things that are being performed. So creative writing, you'll just submit online and attach the document rather than just turning it. Like normally you would print it off and put it in a folder and all of that, but that does not have to be performed. The digital submissions that Jake is talking about are like things that you would normally perform at Explosion. That's what will be video submitted in front of people. So.
My bad for not explaining that well. And then lastly, and then we'll turn it over to the registration portion. Coaching applications. That's one thing I want us all to remember. Coaching positions don't roll over. I think we're trying to get away from that. So if you have someone in your local context, whether it's a youth leader or an adult that participates with your students and they want to coach a sport, please have them fill out that application. And especially for your friends who have coached in the past and who want to coach again, make sure they fill out that application as well. I don't see any other thing that I want to hit right now. Yeah, so with that, I think I'll turn it over to Ryan.
Cool. So I am going to share my screen here and hopefully walk you through this. So these are, oh, how did I do that? This here, y'all can see this? Yes, cool. So this is going to be the ETNYI.org. And so this is not live. So if you go there now, you will not see this. This will open up Thursday. So the timeline of why we did this is to have this meeting tonight, send the email yesterday, have this meeting tonight. You talk with your students tonight or on Wednesday when a lot of churches gather. And then on Thursday, everything can open up. But here's the thing, a couple things before we dive in. One, you need to decide in your local group how you're going to do registration, student registration. My personal suggestion, and Jake Beard brought this up a couple of weeks ago when we were planning, is for you to be present and have a conversation with your students, whether that's even printing off last year's form and having them fill it out, and then doing the digital or the online registration from there. We don't want you to fill out one for your student and your student go and fill one out. Or you think that your student's going to fill it out and the student thinks that you're going to fill it out and they ended up not getting registered. So we don't want those. We want to avoid that at all cost. So come up with a plan in your local context of what's going to work best for you. Jake mentioned that he's going to bring his iPad. He's going to have those conversations, and then they're going to register with him right there while they're at church. Secondly, with the registration, it is obviously unique, but this is one of those things that we will not go back. Okay, probably every district event from here until at least you vote me out of office is going to be online. Okay, so it's easier. I would spend hours and hours and hours doing camp forms. And Jake, I mean, there's 50 to 100 more people that attend Explosion, 200 plus people that attend TNT. So this helps give Jake more headspace and time to plan the things that matter and not waste his time putting everything in an Excel format. So I'm just going to go in and open each one of these and just kind of run through it really quick. First is the student registration. So here is this is what it's going to look like. So if you're a youth pastor or a parent, here's kind of what you select. We do want to empower the parents to also be involved, but we just want to know if there's a question, who to contact kind of deal. That's what we're doing here. And then everything else mimics the typical registration form. All this stuff is required. So you're going to have to fill it out. And then you'll get down to these sections here. So it's the art categories. So our friend Megan is in charge of this. So she will get everyone who registered for this. So you can just select whatever you want to participate in. And this kind of gives some guidance as to what will be looked for when you submit it. And we'll go over that when we look at the submissions. Creative ministries, creative writing. So you'll just select what this particular student wants and needs to register for. And we are going to require a signature from the parent, from the student, from someone. And this is just a fun fact for me to do research there. So any questions on the actual student registration? Excellent.
Hey, Ryan, really quick with that, that student registration.
Sure.
We've created a poster and to put on social media, but we have a poster with a QR code on the bottom of it. And that QR code actually sends you to the student registration form. So if you're, if you have your iPad during youth group or Sunday school, you can just hold your camera over the QR code, takes you right there. So there's another way we're trying to just make things a little bit easier for you and your students.
Yes, good point. Good point. So the process, this is really important. The process, if you register a student, I want to encourage you to encourage them, or I want to encourage you to encourage them to do some new things. Try some new things. This is probably the best opportunity for you to do it. You have time to work on it before it has to be submitted. However, after a student is registered, we're going to be very strict on not going back and adding things to their registration. Okay, that totally skews our plan and the simplicity of it. Okay, so if they think they might do it, check the box, and if they end up not doing it, it's easier for us to manage rather than going back in and trying to register them for something else, and making sure there's the correct amount of space for them to do that. So please, please, please encourage your students to check the box if they're interested. And if they end up not being able to, or change their mind later, just let us know through an email and we can take it off. But going in to add something is fairly difficult. The rest of these forms should never be around students. Okay, the rest of these forms are yours, and these are no different than normal. So if you have a volleyball team, you can maybe click this.
It's not live yet.
Yeah, true. So okay, so here we go. So vocal music, this is going to be your group. So if you have a worship band or like a duet or an ensemble, we'll type in the church name. You'll select the event category. Okay. So this is going to be the description: choir, ensemble, small group, duet is obviously 2. Worship band has to have 3 or more people. Instrumental group is at least 2. You'll select that. You'll select the age group, which is always based on the oldest member in the group. And then we just need you to type in the group names of who's participating. This has to be done for every group, vocal and instrumental music group, for every team, every creative ministries group. They all look basically the same, just like this. Church, you're going to select the event, you're going to select the age group, you're going to type their names. So no matter what, even on sports teams, this is important. If you do not have a full team, you still need to do the team registration. And we will go through on the back end. Jacob Cobb is in charge of the sports. He will go in and form the groups that need to be formed. He mentioned earlier, our friend Jake mentioned earlier, that you can mail checks to him. There is going to be an online payment option. I don't imagine a lot of people will use this, but it is available. So if your pastor would rather pay with a church card than to go through and write a check and you get an invoice, it's all it's all really well done, honestly. If I do say so myself. I didn't do it. It just is default, kind of. So there will be an online payment form. And then last but not least is your church t-shirt summary. So this is an important, this is, you're going to type your church. You're going to tell me how many is what. Okay. So this is no different than how you would normally fill out a t-shirt form. Okay. And you'll submit it. We are not going to go through and count all the smalls, all the mediums. This is going to be kind of what dictates your t-shirt order. So please get this correct. And then the coaching application is also on here. Again, that just literally is identical to the paper form, just online. Some important notes about the coaching application. One, Jake, who is in charge of Explosion and TNT, myself, Ronald Mazim, Elizabeth Smith, and Stephen Morrison are the crew that selects those coaches. So there is some balance there, but it's not just Jake. So don't get mad at Jake if you wanted to coach Ultimate Frisbee and you weren't selected to coach Ultimate Frisbee, kind of deal. So here comes the Explosion submission forms. This is important, and I think this is going to make everything much simpler for you guys and for us, since there's going to be so much recording and just digital submissions, pictures. This is set up in a way for you to do it as you go. So if you have a Saturday full of your students are coming and performing all these different things, you can record, you can click whichever one of these you want and upload whatever it is. In art, so we'll start there. Name, church, email, age, and then the art submission. So you're just going to select which one you did. And then you're just going to upload the photo. And you can select it. You can choose it. It's attached. And so our friend Megan for art wants us to just describe it. So I used Google to steal something that doesn't belong to me. So I will win. Okay. And so you would just describe your artwork there. Realistically, it's what types of media did you use? If there's different forms, the dimensions, that kind of thing that she can, her and her judges are able to kind of use that information as well to go from there. If you are choosing 3D art, it's going to be best for you can upload multiple photos, but it'll be easier if you just take some pictures, and if you walk around with your phone taking a video of the 3D art. And that's another important one to kind of use this description, this comments box, to tell us what you did. Additionally, still photography. I think it might be difficult to take a picture of the picture that you took. So you are able to scan a picture, your still photography submission, instead of having to take a picture of it. You cannot edit photos. You cannot do any editing on any of these pictures that you take, except still photography. The picture you take, and those rules were outlined in the email and again in the TNT book, so check that out. Creative Ministries is going to be the same, except you're going to be uploading a video by your participant's name, the church email, and then whichever age group and your creative ministry option here. Again, you cannot edit, and we are giving you a lot of freedom here, but we are trusting you to not take advantage of the video submissions. Video production, again, outlined in the rules, is the only category that you are able to edit videos. So you can upload that to YouTube also and submit it, but none of these other things are you allowed to edit video or audio, either one. So, and those things will be thrown out immediately. Will be disqualified if they are. So creative writing, Julie, so you would just upload the file after you do it. Anything that has a presentation portion on the evaluation form will not be used. So there will not be any, like I think on creative writing, it's supposed to be like in a little folder and stuff. Those are the rules. But for our event, we will just forego that on the evaluation sheet. Instrumental music, same thing, no video or audio editing. All of this is the same. You'll just select whatever and click upload. These are all literally kind of the same, except for swimming. Swimming, you are supposed to do this in front of an adult, preferably your ETNYI president or youth pastor or pastor. However, you will just get on here and submit. It took you 2 minutes and 6 seconds to swim 50 meters in one turn. And if you're doing it that fast, you should be in the Olympics. So this is, that's the only difference. You're not really uploading anything. You're just submitting it. And then vocal music, same thing. We know this is a kind of a lot of work for you as a leader. We tried to make it as easy as possible for you. But we kind of had to do it this way. We could not find a venue that was large enough or willing to host us with everything going on, which is understandable. So my suggestion is set a deadline in your church for your students to have all of their art there. And then you go through and you can just submit all of those artworks together at the same time. Any questions on any of the registration or submission forms?
Okay, so we register first and then we can start submitting stuff, and does it have to be all done at once?
No, please don't do it at once.
Okay.
Please don't. Okay. Not that we're going to start judging, right. But if you run to an issue uploading things, I'd rather it be December 5th rather than January 16th, 2 days before it's all due or whatever. Okay. So yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So we register first and then we can start submitting stuff.
Correct.
Okay. Correct. All right.
So yeah, definitely register. The registration deadline, with it being online, allows us more time. I think it's like January 4th. And that will just give you a month and a half to register. Okay. And that's it. You just have to register. Everything is due in, I think, the 18th or something.
Okay.
4th, 11th, 18th, I think. That's right? Maybe. So you'll have an additional 2 weeks after registration deadline to get everything else in. The big things, your T-shirt form, try to get that as accurate as you can. I don't know. I guess I will. This is something cool also that we're going to be doing. Man, I'm tempted not to, but we'll just do it. We will have a swag order form. where this will have, sorry, I gotta open it. So this is the edited version. We're gonna have different options here. I don't know if it'll be these options or different options. If you register and pay the registration, you're gonna get the t-shirt that Jake has. So this will all be in addition. So if a parent wants a event shirt, include them in your t-shirt. We'll go through and make sure your payment is correct. And then we're going to have some other options here. It might not be these exact items. We don't know. We'll see here in a few weeks. But so there is going to be that option. But this one's pretty important to get done correct. Obviously, you can pay online or send the check, whatever your church is most comfortable with right now. And again, encourage your students to do new things, try new things. Literally 2 to 3 people are going to see them, the videos, and that's it. So if they are new to something and they feel like they struggled, it's not like they're standing on a stage in front of dozens of people. It's their group and a couple adults who are going to be judging each submission. The only other thing that I want to stress is another just point of integrity. If Jake is singing a solo and he's up there singing and you're recording, and Jake messes up, Jake is perfect and he never messes up while he's singing. But if he happened to, I cannot stop recording and restart. Okay, like we at Explosion and at TNT, you're going to get one shot on the stage to perform whatever it is. So please just be honest. If you mess up, if you miss a line, whatever it is, we just expect that people would submit the one time. Practice all you want up until that time, but once you start recording, please only record one time and submit that. So any other questions on registration or the submission forms that will go live Thursday? All right, excellent. Well, I will, these are in the link in the emails. So I guess it kind of is live from that perspective, but they won't be easily accessible without that email until Thursday. And another thing we talked about with Jake is we know there will be questions. We know that there's going to be, with all the unique things going on, it's new. Truthfully, for me, it's exciting. I think there's a lot of opportunity for kids to get involved in things that they might not get involved with typically. So I'm excited. I think we could have, honestly, a record year, at least a recent record of participation. And then all of the sports stuff, that's all in the email. We're not going to go over that right now unless Jake has some things to add to it. But many of those things will look similar to a normal event. We did add a couple tournaments and add a little more sports. But basically how those are going to work is the TNT coach that is selected is going to run that tournament. And then if there is time left in the slot, they can do whatever they want with that time. They can mix teams up. They can run a practice, whatever it is. That time will be given to that coach to do whatever they want to do to see more talent or to finish up making selections for their team or whatever. So yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as the registration and submissions go. We should have plenty of space for all of these uploads. If not, we will buy more, and that's okay. But if there's no other questions, Jake, it is all yours.
Yeah, so very quickly, just a couple things. There may be instances this year with this event that one of your students does all digital submissions and doesn't have to attend the event. So that is definitely a possibility. So if someone just does vocal music or art, and they just do that, they don't have to come to the event. And we are actually kind of discouraging bringing extra people along just to, like we said, just to be safe. And also want to mention pricing. This year, this will be the cheapest Explosion has been.
Inexpensive.
Yes, inexpensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
The event, inexpensive.
Yeah. And so we're really excited about that. And so even if, it's $25 per student. And so even if your student does art and football, or just does art and just digital submission, everybody pays $25. But with that, if you register 10 students, you will receive a $50 discount off of your total price. And that was also mentioned in the email. So encourage your students to do as much as they can, because what a great way to start the year than with this event. We have no idea what 2021 looks like, but what a way to start the year with our NYI family. And I've already pushed a couple of my students to try some new things, maybe test the waters on some things they haven't tried yet. But we're excited about this event. Also, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our Explosion leadership team. Many of you have heard about them, but you don't know who they are. So those people are Megan Smith, Jacob Cobb, and Danny Lopez, and Audra Curry. And they have been huge. I cannot say enough how huge of a role that they have played in the planning and strategizing and executing of this event. I know I'm newer to the district. I didn't grow up here. And so having different perspectives is really what I wanted to do with this event. And so we have students who grew up on this district who are helping lead this event now. It's really cool. And yeah, so really excited for Explosion. And we hope that you can join us.
Excellent. Any questions for Jake or registration or anything that wasn't covered that normally you might have questions about? After a 17-page email and a 45-minute call, good, I'm glad. Renee, it looks like you have something to say. No, you just, okay. The only thing that I have also is we are going to wait until the registration deadline or close to it for us to release the schedule. That way we can see who needs what time slots and that kind of thing. So that will be coming out, but it will be later. Like Jake said, everyone will need to be here and registered and checked in 8:15 to 9 o'clock Central Time. And the time slots will go from there. Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only talent side of things is impromptu, and then math and business.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you will need to attend. Obviously, we can't do an impromptu speeches if we're sending those out way ahead of time. So those are the two talent side events that we will be doing live here at Cookeville. So any questions? No? All right, excellent. Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you, Jake, for all your hard work and getting this set up. We are seriously grateful. It's nothing like the first time you have to run the event, that it's totally unique. So proud of you, pal. So cool. Email or contact Jake if you have any questions. And again, registration will go live on Thursday. So get your students pumped about it. We're pumped about it. We're excited what can come of this. So if that's all, have a great night.